family? Welcome back to the channel. You already know it's your boy Moose Talks Hoops. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit the like button. You already know it's a lot of things in this world that cost, but hitting the like button ain't one of them. Yes, sir. That boy Moose is back on the loose. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what to do. Smash that like button and share the video so we can talk some hoops, man. And I hope you guys missed me because I missed you guys too, man. First and foremost, salute to the realest chat on YouTube. You know how I feel about you guys. It ain't many of us, but less is more. So there's plenty of us, man. Let me get some shout outs out the way, man. Shout out to my guy, Julian Pratt, in the place to be. Goat James in the place to be. What up, bro? A-Son the Great in the place to be. What up, bro? Iron Man 32. What up, bro? Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. What up, bro? We gonna get right into all of that, Iron Man. I see you right there. We gonna cover it all. Because I try to tell you guys about the Real Housewives of Hollywood and how cheap they were and how they was never serious about this thing and how Dan Hurley was using them. But more importantly, the Lakers were using Dan Hurley to pull off the stunt that they've been wanting to pull off this entire time. Smash that like button and share the video. Dan Hurley, man, he is going on a media tour today. To set the record clear. Tawan Gant, I see you, bro. We gonna talk about it all, man. Smash that like button and share the video. And like I've been telling you guys all along, I know the cappers, the trolls, the LeBron James extremists, all of them included, have been running around these YouTube streets saying I'm capped, saying this, but they cannot present to you any factual proof to dispel anything I'm saying. And here I am bringing receipt after receipt, and yet and still, you guys are calling me the capper. Well, if you guys is not going to take my word for it, if you guys is not going to take the news articles and all these other NBA insiders' word for it, that the Real Housewives of Hollywood, Jeannie Buss, Linda Rambis, and the two goofs standing behind them, Phil Jackson, Kurt Rambis, and that puppet of a GM, who we all know is Rob Pelinka, if you guys were not going to believe me that these cheapskates were never going to get Dan Hurley, I'm going to let Dan Hurley tell you guys himself. Let's get right into it. We ain't playing no games today.
Is there an amount of money, Dan? Is there an amount of money that they could have offered that would have changed the decision?
Yeah, I think to leave there probably is, to leave a place at any moment in your life. I think that, like, to say that it's not a motivating factor, the finances to leave a place is definitely a thing. To stay at a place, I don't think it's ever going to be a thing. Like to stay somewhere like UConn, it would never have been, I think, a financial thing. Like, again, this wasn't like some like pressure tactic to make me the highest paid college coach. Like that was already done. But to leave a place, that you feel the way we do, and the family connection with my wife, my sons, my mother-in-law, my brother, my father, who, like, I know how much it means to my dad to go to the Big East tournament and to come to, 10 UConn games a year at home and sitting courtside when I'm coaching against Rick Pitino, to leave all that behind, there probably is a number. I don't know what that is.
There you have it, straight out the horse's mouth himself. Now, if you guys remember, right, especially when we talked about this stuff earlier in the week, especially when we talked about it in the middle of last week. I told you guys, Dan Hurley is ingrained in that community. His father's ingrained in that program. He's an East Coast guy. His wife never really wanted to leave. His kids never really wanted to leave. Although he may have, it was too late in the game to go and get a college coach. But since the Lakers thought it wasn't too late in the game to go get this college coach, they shortchanged him on an offer. Now, if you guys remember, late last week, early this week, rumors were circulating, especially over the weekend, of what Dan Hurley's price tag was going to be. That price tag was listed at 8 years, $100 million. And I told you guys the Lakers were never going to pay that. This is an organization, Jeannie Buss, Linda Rambis, the Real Housewives of Hollywood, and the two stooges that stand behind them, Phil Jackson and Kurt Rambis. When have they ever not shortchanged a coach? We talked about the embarrassing fashion that they played Ty Lue in 2019. We talked about what they did to Jason Kidd. We talked about Frank Vogel taking the cheap deal, having his coaches picked for him, win a championship, and then end up only getting a 1-year extension, and he got fired before that year even got kicked in. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? Dan Hurley was stuck in UConn. His family loves it there. His father has been brought into the program, the legendary Bob Hurley Sr. If you want to get a guy like that this late into the process, we in June, y'all. We less than 2 weeks away from the NBA draft. We in June, y'all. We less than 3 weeks away from free agency. You got Dan Hurley, who has a top 5 class, top 5 team coming back on their way to try to win a 3rd national championship in a row. They got the kid Caravan, who could have went to the NBA draft this year, especially in this week NBA draft, who decided to come back to UConn and play for Dan Hurley. So the Lakers, if you guys were serious, and that number, 8-year, $100 million got leaked over the weekend, and Dan Hurley leaked it himself. Who else would have known what it was going to take for Dan Hurley to come to LA but Dan Hurley? I told you all that stuff that Adrian Wojnarowski was saying was cap. This thing didn't kick off until last Wednesday, when Dan Hurley himself hit up Adrian Wojnarowski, his homeboy, who's long been tied to his family for years. Adrian Wojnarowski wrote a whole book about Bob Hurley Sr. And he trolled all of you guys because when ESPN was talking to Adrian Wojnarowski, he got the book that he wrote about Bob Hurley Sr. in the background. Adrian Wojnarowski is not in the business to holding on to information for 3 weeks, then plopping it out like, oh, I got you guys. This has been the story all along. I just wasn't trying to say anything till now. He's not in the business of doing that. You get fired for that type of stuff, especially when you work for an employer like ESPN. So this whole thing kicked off, like I told you guys, last Wednesday when Dan Hurley hit up Adrian Wojnarowski to let him know that the Lakers had hollered at him. And rest in peace to the great Jerry West. This would never happen on his watch. Rest in peace to Dr. Jerry Buss. This would have never happened on his watch. That's not how they operate. They close deals. That lets you know the Lakers were never serious about Dan Hurley. by offering him that 6 years, $70 million, which in California is really 6 years, $35 million when you take in the toll, taxes, and all of that. And all of that. And then you got all these YouTube shock jocks, guys like Stephen A. Smith that don't know what the hell is going on, the LeBron James extremists, the LeBron James terroristic haters who will tell me this is cap. And yet here we have Dan Hurley telling you right out of his own mouth everything I've been saying over these last 3 streams since the news broke. And here the Lakers are with no other choice. They're not going to go get James Borrego. James Borrego, mark my words, is going to end up the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers if he gets hired. If James Borrego becomes the head coach this offseason, it's going to be with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who everybody thinks has a better situation than the Lakers, but you're dealing with Dan Gilbert. They're 2 weeks away from the draft. They're 3 weeks away from free agency. They don't have a head coach. Nobody knows what Donovan Mitchell's going to do. They're trying to get rid of Darius Garland, Jared Allen, who's running around talking about the lights is too bright in the playoffs for him. This was the Lakers' plan all along, to twerk for J.J. Redick and make it look like to Anthony Davis, to make it look like to LeBron James that they're out here doing their due diligence when they already had their heart set on J.J. Redick. And that's why Rich Paul has been running around this entire offseason telling everybody they don't want J.J. Redick. LeBron's not involved. AD doesn't want that. We want somebody that's going to maximize AD. Can you really expect J.J. Redick to maximize AD when he's the same guy that thought Anthony Davis shouldn't have been on an all-NBA team this year? What are we talking about? And I told you this organization was going to end up with egg on their face. And this ain't the final embarrassment. This ain't the final embarrassment, y'all. This ain't the final embarrassment. They're going to hold their second interview with J.J. Redick and beg him to be the coach because there's nobody else to turn to, even though J.J. Redick was turned off by all this Dan Hurley stuff. And like we originally said, this thing is going to go down after the NBA Finals. Lo and behold, the Celtics have a 3-0 lead. Friday night could be the last night of the NBA Finals, with J.J. Redick interviewing with the Lakers this weekend. I told you this organization is in shambles. You got 2 drunk women, Jeannie Buss, Linda Rambis, operating off looks and vibes. They think J.J. Redick looks the part of a head coach. You have no basketball people making basketball decisions. And to the people that said Dan Hurley didn't want to coach the Lakers because of LeBron James, just wait. Just stay right here. Don't go nowhere. To the people that think LeBron James is pushing J.J. Redick to become the head coach, just wait. I got something for y'all too. Just wait. I'm going to let Dan Hurley talk about LeBron James so you guys can hear it from Dan Hurley's mouth.
Did you talk or text or anything?
We had some text messages, and he incredible message from him. over the course of the weekend, just talking about basketball and some different things, and letting me know that if he was there in LA, that I'd have his support. And just like, think about that, man. Like that blew my mind. And then we got into a text exchange, and then the exchange even went through to when I chose to go in another direction. So it blew my mind when you get a text message from LeBron James. Crazy.
So you heard Dan Hurley. He said he received a text message from LeBron James, and they've been talking since this news broke that he's possibly interested in the Lakers' job. Now, although that dispels LeBron James stating out of business of recruiting coaches, that lets you know right there he doesn't want JJ Redick. If he's actively texting back and forth with Dan Hurley, straight out of Dan Hurley's mouth. Straight out of Dan Hurley's mouth. But Dan Hurley just said something real specific. Dan Hurley said something real specific. I don't know if you guys caught about LeBron James. He said LeBron James said if he's going to be there next year, he would have his full support. His full support if he's going to be there. So with Dan Hurley saying that, and then saying after he chose to go back to UConn, his communication with LeBron James continued. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really starting to believe LeBron James is going out that door, and he's not going to be in a Lakers uniform next season. That tells me Dan Hurley got the vibe from LeBron James that LeBron James ain't going to be in town. I'm going to play that again.
Did you talk or text or anything?
We had some text messages, and he incredible message from him over the course of the weekend, just talking about basketball and some different things, and letting me know that if he was there in LA, that I'd have his support. And just like, think about that, man. Like that blew my mind. And then we got into a text exchange, and then the exchange even went through to when I chose to go in another direction. So it blew my mind when you get a text message from LeBron James. Crazy.
And you guys heard it for yourselves once again, man. Smash that like button and share the video, man. What up to my bro, So Crazy TV in the building, man. Y'all go subscribe to So Crazy TV and turn his channel up, man. Salute, bro. What's going down with you, man? And like I've been saying, man, that dispels all these YouTube shock jocks. Stephen A. Smith, who's been ranting and raving all over television today, and I'm going to get to his ass later. I got something for Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is easy to expose and dispel of. He makes it so easy. I appreciate you, Stephen A. Smith. You make it so easy with all the BS that you spew. Now, if LeBron James has been pushing this JJ Redick thing this entire time, then why in the hell would he spend the entire weekend chopping it up with Dan Hurley if he's pushing for JJ Redick to be the head coach? And that was his plan. And that was his masterful idea of creating this podcast. Make it make sense. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And like I said, the Lakers are damn near the worst ran organization. You can blame LeBron, but what you gonna do next year when he's not there? You can blame AD, but what you gonna do when AD requests a trade and he's not on the team, and you still got the same dysfunction in that front office? But this time, JJ Redick's the head coach. Who are y'all gonna blame? You can't blame LeBron James for JJ Redick. Are y'all gonna start holding Jeannie Buss and Linda Rambis and Phil Jackson and Kurt Rambis accountable then? Philip Reinhart, what up, bro? You see how silly that sounds? You see how silly that sounds, bro? If anything, the Lakers have spent the past 6 years greasing their pockets off LeBron James' labor. And on the other end, being cheapskates. The same way at the latter part of Kobe Bryant's career, the Lakers organization greased their pockets off Kobe Bryant's labor while being cheapskates. And they didn't want to believe me when I was saying all this on Monday. They didn't want to believe me when I was saying all this stuff on Friday. But here we are. How can you dispel this? It's coming from the horse's mouth. It's coming straight out of Dan Hurley's mouth.
Is there an amount of money, Dan? Is there an amount of money that they could have offered that would have changed the decision?
Yeah, I think to leave there probably is, to leave a place at any moment in your life. I think that, like, to say that it's not a motivating factor, the finances to leave a place is definitely a thing. To stay at a place, I don't think it's ever going to be a thing. Like to stay somewhere like UConn, it would never have been, I think, a financial thing. Like, again, this wasn't like some like pressure tactic to make me the highest paid college coach. Like that was already done. But to leave a place, that you feel the way we do, and the family connection with my wife, my sons, my mother-in-law, my brother, my father, who, like, I know how much it means to my dad to go to the Big East tournament and to come to, 10 UConn games a year at home, and sitting courtside when I'm coaching against Rick Pitino. Like, I mean, yeah, to leave all that behind, there probably is a number. I don't know what that is.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. And you guys find every way possible to hold everybody else accountable except for Jeannie Buss, Linda Rambis, Kurt Rambis, and Phil Jackson. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. When it came to JJ Redick, LeBron James said, I'm staying out of it. I don't want no parts of this. Because he knew that's who Jeannie Buss and Linda Rambis wanted all along. But when it came to Dan Hurley, LeBron James threw all that stuff out the window about not trying to meddle in coaches and who's going to be the coach.
Did you talk or text or anything?
We had some text messages, and incredible, message from him over the course of the weekend. Just talking about basketball and some different things, and letting me know, that if he was there in LA, that I'd have his support. And just like, think about that, man. Like that blew my mind. And then we got into a text exchange, and then the exchange even went through to when I chose to go in another direction. So it blew my mind when you get a text message from LeBron James. Crazy.
So for the slow people in the back, once again, that was Dan Hurley telling you guys from the start of the weekend till after he made his decision to stay at UConn, him and LeBron James were texting back and forth and communicating. And Dan Hurley said that if LeBron James is a Laker next year and he was to take the job, that he would have his support. But honestly, I can almost guarantee in that conversation with Dan Hurley and LeBron James said more than that to let Dan Hurley know LeBron James is not going to be in Lakerland next year. And I'm telling you, LeBron James knows the organization is going to go ahead and hire J.J. Redick. LeBron James knows if this J.J. Redick thing blows up, even though he was not the one behind it, that they're going to blame him for it. You can't blame him if he's not on the team. Hell, maybe you guys still will. Next thing you know, you guys going to call Dan Hurley cap. You guys will do anything and everything to avoid accountability for these two housewives of Hollywood, Linda Rambis and Jeannie Buss, and their dumb decisions. And John Wick, you don't think the Lakers were using Dan Hurley? You don't think the Lakers were using Dan Hurley? You don't think the Lakers were using Dan Hurley? They hit the man up on Wednesday about becoming a coach for their team. Flew him out on Friday. You know, his team was already having practices. And have I not been saying that, John Wick? This entire time, have I not been saying that? Have I not been saying that? You got guys on UConn's team, especially Caravan, who could have won in this year's draft. Easy. That decided to come back to school. You think Dan Hurley was going to lead that? You think Dan Hurley was going to lead the opportunity? I told you about his family has been ingratiated in that program. This was all for Jeannie Buss and the Lakers to look like they were exploring all options, when in reality, they're just waiting for the NBA Finals to end to give J.J. Redick the job. Against the wishes of Anthony Davis, who they said they were going to make this pick for. Against the wishes of LeBron James, who said he's staying out of it. And obviously that wasn't the case when it came to Dan Hurley, because Dan Hurley just told you he's been talking to LeBron James since the weekend. LeBron James has been talking to Dan Hurley throughout the whole weekend. before he made his decision and after he made his decision. He just told you he's still talking with LeBron James back and forth. Does that sound like a guy that's pushing for J.J. Redick to be the head coach of the Lakers? But you on the phone with Dan Hurley every day since the news came out that the Lakers were trying to get him? Just make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And now you guys don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take no Sham Charania's word for it. You ain't got to take Adrian Wojnarowski's word for it. Brian Windhurst, whoever, whatever articles. You don't have to believe nothing that comes out. But here's Dan Hurley telling you himself. Make it make sense. Smash that like button and share the video, man. I'm about to get up out of here for now, man. I got smoke for a lot of people, bro. And I got time today. So I got these videos coming back to back to back. I got time today, y'all. We exposing them all. Stephen A. Smith, you're next. You're next, brother. Smash that like button and share the video, man. The link to the Cash App is in the description and on your screen. If you want to become an official member of the channel, the link to that is in the description. Salute to y'all. Salute to the realest chat on YouTube. You know it ain't many of us, but less is more. So there's plenty of us, man. Smash that like button and share the video. We coming right back. Yes, sir, John Wick. We coming right back, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Let the outro sing, man. I can't believe these people. Once again, you already know it's your boy Moose Talks Hoops. Like I always say, if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit the like button. You already know. It's a lot of things in this world that cost, but hitting the like button ain't one of them.